For most people, the name Yichang, a smallish city in the west of Hubei, means very little. Much of Hubei is flat. It's the Yangtze River region, and traveling on a bike through Wuhan, the provincial capital, as I did a few months ago, we hardly hit even a slope. It was so flat that over 100-kilometer day we rose to an elevation of no more than 70 meters, which was probably a bridge, not even a hill. However, as you travel west, you start to see the hills coming up out of the ground ahead. The closer you get, the more imposing they appear. And this is why the region where Yichang is so well known. Almost everyone in the developed world has heard of Chongqing. As many people or more have heard of the amazing Three Gorges region. And of course, for the last 40 years or more, we've been hearing about the Three Gorges Dam. Well, Yichang is the city where China built the dam because it's at the end of the hills. And that's where most of the tourists get off their cruises, and they either head home or off to other places in China for more incredible experiences. But there's a lot more to Yichang than just a stopping off point. Of course, everyone who goes to Yichang must see the dam and learn some of the positives. Instead of focusing on Western media negatives, before it was built they said it would submerge sacred sites. It didn't. Now think about this. For most of us who know anything about China, we all know one thing. Almost everything that's described as sacred is at the top of a hill. It would inundate ancient relics, they said. Again, it didn't. Most of them were moved wherever possible, housed in museums all around the Three Gorges region. In fact, Chongqing alone has 57 museums. Yichang has many too, including one at the famous dam site. It would destroy the aquatic life was another claim, and yet it's done nothing of the sort. In fact, quite the opposite. There is now a sturgeon museum where we can view those living fossils from all over the Eurasian region, where we can purchase caviar and even taste it served with ice cream, which was something of an experience. We can witness the efforts made to preserve the habitats of these amazing dinosaur fish, as well as the believed to be extinct Yangtze finless porpoise, which are exclusive to this region. They're back. Once believed extinct, they are not. They are the subject of research, protection, and husbandry to ensure they grow in numbers like every other aquatic species in the river. Now, on both sides of the dam, they're benefiting from a 10-year moratorium on fishing. So there were many other concerns in Western media while the dam was being constructed, one of which was corruption. That's always a concern. But looking around and talking to people displaced and rehoused by the dam, there seems to be no evidence at all of that. I visited a village which used to be on the other side of the dam, in a region now covered by the large body of water that the dam created, and I asked the village leader there if she thought she was better off. Clearly she'd been asked this question before. She rolled her eyes and asked me, "What do you think? We used to farm the land, and now we use our brains rather than our backs." Her village is a tourist resort with hotels, restaurants, craft shops, and decent roads both in and out. Life is better. I even learned how to make a mugwort sack to make my sock drawer smell good, under the supervision of an expert. I learned how to make a shell ornament under the supervision of a master craftsman. All of these skills are so much better and more profitable than farming rice or vegetables. A couple of years ago, I was in Hunan, where I witnessed the groundbreaking ceremony for another, smaller, but just as important dam. Speaking to villagers there, I was told by them, through a translator, that they were getting paid for the homes they lived in at market price. They would also get a similar size of new home built for them for free in a new town created outside the valley. They would receive the income from the farms that they are working for the next 70 years without having to work their farms. Their income would never be lower than it was that day. Another concern of Western media allayed. The people are being well compensated, and as I found to my satisfaction, the people around the Three Gorges Dam were also well compensated and satisfied with their lives now. They live in modern homes, their work is more satisfying, their income is better than ever before. So, after the dam was finished and completed, the next great concern is the fear that it might collapse. Experts who have never set foot on the dam have concerns that there might be cracks, and these cracks could lead to failure. Every year we see new reports that it's at capacity and it's in danger of collapse, and every year the danger subsides, as if it were never there. Perhaps it never was. The dam is in a secure area. Not everyone can just wander down for a look at it. You need to go through security. It's not secured by local Bao'an, a public security service, nor is it secured by Gong'an, the Chinese police. It's secured by the People's Liberation Army, and they know what they're doing. I wouldn't want to be a terrorist with plans to do harm to the people of China by hitting this place. I remember visiting the Three Gorges for the first time in 2005 and being told, again by Western media, that it was necessary to see it because it would be all flooded and then the dam became fully operational. It wasn't going to be the same. I visited again in 2021 and guess what? It's not true. The region is very beautiful, every bit as beautiful, far better protected, and an incredible holiday destination. It's possible to take a 7-day tour back up the river against the current or 3-day with the current. I don't know which would be more enjoyable. What else does Yichang have to offer? Believe it or not, it's one of the largest yeast producers in the world. Until 1986, there was very little yeast production in China. Most of it came from Europe, where producers with 100 years of history were supplying much of the world's needs. Most of Asia's needs are now met by Yichang's angel yeast. Only 40 years old, same as the dam. Now the second largest producer of yeast and yeast products in the world. Who knew that such a product was so important and would provide stable income for so many people? I certainly didn't. But on a walk around their showroom there, I saw many products I recognized. This is not a travelogue, but it's well worth taking a longer look at Yichang. There's the Sturgeon Museum to learn more about the work they're doing, not to allay Western fears, but to actually preserve the Yangtze River and its occupants. There's the Yichang Museum, where we can see what they're doing to preserve the historical artifacts and culture of the region, which Western media promised us would be lost. There are thriving industries serving the traditional medicine industry, and there's a global leader in yeast, an indispensable product valuable for humanity. In fact, if you find yourself in Chongqing, which is a must-see destination, then it would be crazy of you not to cruise down the most gorgeous river in the world to Yichang and see some more. If you do, you won't be disappointed.